My name is Lab Waltz. I'm a gay Christian, and I welcome all your questions. I'm going to answer them from a biblical and scientific perspective. Make sure to respect everyone. Don't say things you wouldn't say to anybody in person. Hope you guys had a good week. I was in the OR this week. It was fantastic. It was yesterday. I had to actually wear because there's X-ray machines and radiation. I had to wear this lead apron the entire time. Oh my gosh, my back hurts. It's heavy. It was so heavy. It was quite terrible. But it's nice because you get to see everything, right? But dang, that was heavy. You know what they warn you when you're in the OR and you're gonna be there for the whole day, right? You're gonna be on your feet, and they're like, your feet are gonna hurt. Yeah, so I expected my feet to hurt, totally normal, but my back was the actual one that was hurting because of the leather apron. Not the lead apron, I'm sorry. It's a lead apron to shield you from the radiation, from the seeds that we are putting into the prostate to kill cancer. It's cool though, right? It's fantastic. It's a very easy procedure. Yeah, just about 18 needles, 50 to 60 seeds going into your prostate. Don't worry. The patients are under general anesthesia. They can't feel the needle stabbing them multiple times. Yeah. But if the doctor does say that you need a radioprotective spacer to shield your rectum from damage from radiation, that one you're not going to be under general anesthesia. You're actually going to be awake the entire time. It's just local, so you're going to be feeling the needles giving you anesthesia. Yeah, you're just a local. It's no big deal. It's just maybe I would say about like maybe six pricks, right? Because they're gonna prick you outside, they're gonna prick you inside, because you have to get all the way inside to get to your rectal space to shield you. The material they use for the spacer is the same thing that they use for Botox. Actually, very interesting. So it really does help you not have those rectal effects, side effects like diarrhea, loose stool, and all that. I spoke to the anesthesiologist yesterday, and he was like, I feel like a middle class. And I was like, excuse me? You feel like you're part of the middle class? Keep in mind, anesthesiologist is one of the highest paid medical specialty. And he tells me that he feels like a middle class. We're doomed. I was like, he's like, I feel like I'm gonna have to work until I'm 80 because I have 3 kids. Oh man. Our area is just way too expensive. Even the anesthesiologist feels like he's middle class. Crazy. Yeah. I asked him if he even wants to move out of the area, right? Maybe go somewhere undesirable. Make the same amount of money and have it cost less. Hopefully, the living expenses. Yeah. Oh man. Dad, inflation. Wait, elemental mastery. I'll keep that. One of the most powerful people in the hospital is the union head. Okay, they're head of the union. They have the power to make your life miserable. All right, or at least the CEO of the hospital's life miserable by telling you that the nurses and the hospital staff, the janitorial staff, they're all going on strike. So everybody's gonna leave your hospital. Nobody's gonna be working. Who's gonna tend to the patients? All right, so you gotta keep your people happy. As part of the staff, you should wear like a hazmat suit, really. Quite interesting. I was like, why do you need to wear a hazmat suit? It's because if you get infection in soft tissue, right, you're totally fine. But if you get, because you have blood flow and antibiotics can totally kill it. But if you get infection in your spine, in your skeletal in your skeleton, then there's not much blood flow there. So even if you give antibiotics, it's really slow moving. So, you know, infection will totally kill you. So better wear those hazmat looking suits. They really just look like hazmat suits. But I'm sure they're not hazmat suits, because they don't look like it. From the CDC, you know? So it's kind of funny. Anybody who's going into medicine or medical school, wanting to be thinking that you're gonna make a lot of money, yeah, nah. To an extent, depending on your specialty, but yeah, nah. A lot of work. Yeah, the anesthesiologist was like, I don't even know if it was worth it, because he's on call. He's doing private practice, so he is on call all the time, and nobody else can cover for him. I was like, isn't that something as resident does? What do you mean you're on call? He's like, yeah, private practice. He has to do it all the time, 24 hours, and then you can't sleep when you get home, and then the next day you have to do it all over again. And he's just like, as you get older, it's really hard to keep that up, right? And initially, when you're younger, you think, oh, this is really cool because I get paid a lot more, and you really want that extra money, you know? Yeah. So he's all like, I don't know if it was even worth it. Yeah, that's the thing though, right? The more money you make, the easier it is to upgrade your lifestyle. And if you upgrade your lifestyle, then you can't keep up. You can't make enough money. I mean, you know, working for somebody, I should say, working for somebody and make that up. It's just hard. It is just hard. Yeah. And the first thing they told me when I got there is like, you really shouldn't go to medical school. You really should rethink that. A lot of people who work in medicine actually say that. It's kind of funny. I mean, I did change my route already, you know. My goal was used to go into surgery, and now I'm all like, yeah, I don't think I want that lifestyle at the current moment. You know? You grow. I mean, they've been saying that for years. They've been telling me that for years. You really should reconsider going to surgery and all that kind of stuff. It's the quality of life, right? Well, before I was kind of like, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. And then you have children and you're like, oh, okay. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to miss out on all of these things with the kids and whatnot, you know? We wanna be present during their childhood and stuff like that, so. They didn't say they agree that I should be a surgical PA. They're like, yeah, that's a really efficient way to see a lot of interesting things, right? I mean, I agree with you. Well, one good thing about being a PA is that you can change your specialty, you know. And so I was talking to the head of union, and he was telling me, this I was like amazed because I didn't know he was the head of the union, right? I didn't know. I thought he was just a surgical tech. And he's just very nice, and we're talking and showing me things and showing me other ORs and stuff like that, and how these things work. And he was telling me, oh yeah, we actually started a program here in this hospital, a PA program, a first assist program for nurses, first assist, and PAs, surgical PAs. And they train you, and you're kind of like, you're just an independent contractor though. And he did say that they do have a schedule. So I guess it's not really as needed, right? Because if you think about it, as needed is like really unstable. You're one as needed, two independent contractor. You just no work stability. I'm sure you could do it if you're working elsewhere, right? And this is just extra income, which is really cool because all you do is actually just assist in ORs and surgeries and stuff. Yeah, that is fantastic. My first job, I literally just crossed the street from my house, and then went into a department store that was there and applied. Like, looking for a job, and then they interview you and they hire you, and that was it. Ah, like yay, good enough, good enough. Like fresh out of high school during summer after you graduate. Like every job you get is just to basically build your resume anyway. Like a grocery store. Yeah. If you can get a cashier position in a grocery store like Safeway, they actually pay well. Bagger, not so much. I guess they don't really pay well for baggers, but yeah, cashier should pay well. Um, there should be banks in grocery stores. I don't know if they actually hire, hmm, if they're really strict, but I used to work at a bank as a teller. That was good. It's good job to have all through college. They give you really nice benefits, so set you up for your 401k, your retirement, and stuff like that. So it's good. Woohoo! I know, can't read the map. Oh my goodness. This is why I have GPS everywhere. And if I get lost because I don't have the GPS as a trigger, all I do is pray. Literally, okay? This is what happens. This is what happens when my phone dies and I can't charge it, right? I don't know what happened. Like I don't have a charger in the car, and I'm like in the middle of nowhere because somehow I thought like going on a road trip is a good idea without a charger, right? This has happened to me. Or there's no signal. You're in the middle of nowhere, so your GPS not working. This is what happens to me. Okay, I would pray that God would direct me towards my home, right? Very far, hours away, but at least get me to the right freeway, right? I would pray, and then I would just randomly follow a car. Like if I'm going straight, right, and I see a car up ahead, I'll just follow them. I'll just follow them, and then if I see more cars, I'll follow the direction of more cars, and then eventually I'll keep going and I'll hit my freeway, and then that freeway will take me home. Happens every single time. I kid you not. I kid you not. Oh, no matter where I am, I'm just like, oh my god, somebody's gonna take me to the freeway. Somebody. And it has to be the right freeway because there's so many freeways in the area. It's gonna take you in different directions, right? So like, oh my goodness. Oh, you just pray. Just pray. You know? Jeez. The God positioning system. Yeah, and I was talking to the anesthesiologist, and he was telling me how he is. I don't know. Did I tell you already? That he feels like a middle class. He feels like middle class as an anesthesiologist, which is one of the highest paid medical specialty. Can you believe it? Oh, well, you're comparing to the tech people in the area, so yeah, definitely, I can see why you feel that way, but you get paid a lot. And he was saying that he doesn't think it's worth it now that he's older, because he has to be on call since he is an anesthesiologist in private practice. So he doesn't have residents to do on call, so he has to be up 24/7. I mean, not 24/7, 24 hours, and then go back to work the next day, kind of a thing. And it's like really hard to sleep and all that. Yeah. So he was saying, "Oh, I don't even know if it's worth it, worth the trade of like the sacrifice you've made for the extra money, right?" Yeah, that's what it is. It was so funny. He was like, "I think I'm gonna have to work until I'm 80 because I have 3 kids." Oh man. Okay. I work for a radiation oncologist, and he says the same thing. He says he can probably retire in like 7 to 10 years, but it really depends on if he has to provide for his children or not. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to pay for their college, you pay for their house, their first home. You're gonna pay for all these things. Yeah, so funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Never retire. That's what it is. If you're gonna provide for your children, never retire. Especially if they're used to a certain lifestyle that's like really, upgraded because of your upgraded financial status. Then, oh well. Oh yeah, so the first thing they said when I got to the OR, they're like, "You're from the OR nurse to the anesthesiologist to the like to the surgical tech. You really should rethink going to medical school." I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not going to medical school anymore. I know. I'm going to PA school. They're like, it's the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's the same thing. It's still as rigorous as ever. I know, I know. But it's still kind of less less work, kind of, sort of, right? Because the anesthesiologist is like, yeah, it's the same, except that your tuition is less. Yeah, and your residency is less. And then you get to pick whatever specialty you want, which is a good thing for me because I don't want to be stuck in one specialty. Initially, I wanted to be a surgeon, so I was like, oh, it's gonna be fine. Whatever. I'm only interested in neuro or ortho anyway, so it's fine. Then I'm like, oh, but I actually am interested in natural medicine as well, and so I integrated medicine and all kind of stuff. So yeah, I want to do PA, and then the urologist was like, oh, you're kind of still stuck in the same. So he's like, oh, you're still kind of stuck in this, because how many surgical specialties really use PAs? I mean, he makes sense. Ortho definitely use PAs. Neuro probably do, which are the two specialties that I want. I probably dabble in emergency medicine. That seems interesting to me. Urgent care, not so much, because urgent care is a smaller version of emergency medicine. So I might go with emergency medicine. But only for short term. I don't think I'm gonna stay there long term. That's gonna be really stressful. But I think it'd be interesting. And then natural medicine or integrative medicine will be interesting for me. So those are the specialties that I'm looking at. Psychiatry would be interesting just because I'm a psychology major. So that would be interesting. Yeah, so there's like a lot of things that you can do with it in terms of specialty. Yeah. Other surgical specialties I'm not really that interested in, like plastics, I could care less. Urology, yeah, no thank you. I'm not dealing with the urinary system. OBGYN, yeah, I don't care. I don't care as to I don't care to like for female health and babies, yeah, I don't. There's also like obstetrics, right? Babies, I don't. There's also, what else is there? I think peds. I do like pediatrics though, because I like children. I do like pediatrics. Yeah, the nurse was like, the OR nurse is like, yeah, you really should rethink going to medicine. You don't get to see the sky. It's just you're in here the whole day till night. It's just bad for your well-being, at least for me, something like that. It's kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, I do find hospitals could be quite dreary, but it's the fastest way to learn about medicine, especially if you want to do something else in the healthcare field, right? Which I do. Besides working in healthcare, like medical education would be interesting. Creating YouTube videos, which is my plan, and create YouTube videos about medicine and God.